This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter. I'm welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. Yes, it's a Sunday. You know what that means. On this day, May 2nd, E-I-E-I-O, the Leafs have won the Stanley Cup. E-I-E-I-O. In 1967, the last year of the original six, then 6 more teams come into the league and make the Leafs just to win the Stanley Cup, lower from 1-6 to 1-12, but now it is 1-31, which is over 3%. At least they're doing well in the North Division right now. Failure to communicate. E-I-E-I-O. So anyway, the 1967 Toronto Maple Leafs are in this video. May 2nd, so 54 freaking years ago. They won the Stanley Cup. So the main series, the championship series was between the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ironically, the two Canadian teams. And ironically, Expo 67, which was actually a major event, the World Expo, which was the main thing. Whoever won the Stanley Cup got to put it in their pavilion. Montreal Mayor Jean Drapeau said that it would be proud in the Quebec pavilion, the Stanley Cup. Ontario said, no, it's going to be in our pavilion. So basically, it's a big matchup and all that. Of course, they have the longest active championship drought in the NHL since 1967. They haven't even made the Stanley Cup Finals since 1967. And this would be the last all-Canadian finals till 1986. So, the 67 playoffs. Let's talk about the 67 Stanley Cup playoffs, why don't you? The weird thing about the playoffs at that time was that number one did not face number four, and you think with four teams, it would be 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3. Sadly, though, that doesn't happen. The NHL was weird having 1 versus 3 and 2 versus 4. In a 1 versus 4, Chicago would have faced New York with the Leafs and Habs facing each other off in the semifinals. So the Leafs probably would have been playing the Blackhawks. Who knows? But anyway, the Leafs shocked the Blackhawks, who finally were the best team in the NHL after the curse of Muldoon in 1928 was broken. Took 4 decades. The Hawks and Leafs were in a 4-game fight. Series was tied 2-2, but Game 5 was the powerful one. That was the game where Sawchuk came in for an injured Johnny Bower in front of a U.S. TV audience, and the Leafs won in Chicago 4-2. The Leafs would win Game 6 3-1 at home, knock off the Hawks. The Habs had minimum effort. They only gave up 8 goals, although 4 goals were in Game 1 to the Rangers. They had to win 6-4 in Game 1. Boom Boom Jefferson scored for the Rangers, and then Roger Bear put up 2 goals. And Vic Hadfield. Other than that, the Rangers were just beaten to the punch. And Montreal won at Madison Square Garden 3 on an overtime goal by John Ferguson. So we head to the Stanley Cup Finals. The Leafs had an average age of 31 on their squad. Amazing. Johnny Bower was 42 and Alan Stanley was 41. Dave Keon was the Conn Smythe winner. Montreal crushed Toronto into fine powder in the opener 6-2. On a hat trick by Pocket Rocket Richard, Henri. Belleville scored once, and Yvonne Roadrunner Cournoyer 2 goals. The Leafs had Larry Hillman and Jim Pappen score. Game 2, Sawchuk was replaced with Bauer in the nets for the start, and Bauer put up a shutout. Pete Stamkowski, Mike Walton, and Tim Horton put up goals for the Leafs. Yes, that Tim Horton. So the series was split, headed back to Toronto for Game 3, which ended up being double overtime. Sean Belleville and John Ferguson scored in regulation for Montreal. Toronto had Stamkowski and Jim Pappen. It took double overtime on a beautiful goal by Bob Holford off Rogie Vachon. And yes, NHL fans would be like, Rogie Vachon played for the Habs? Yes, he did, before he went to the Kings. That was just after Ken Dryden's amazing 1971 Stanley Cup Finals rendered Vachon useless, and he went to Los Angeles and became a good goalie for LA and Detroit, for that matter. Of course, it didn't help matters that the Punch Imlach insulted Rogie Vachon, saying that we're going to do well against this junior B goalie because they didn't know about Rogie Vachon. But in Game 1, Vachon shut the Leafs up. The Habs would crush the Leafs in Game 4, 6-2. Goals by Ralph Backstrom scored twice. Sean Belleville scored twice. Andre Richard scored, and Jimmy Roberts, not the NBC tennis commentator, but a defenseman. The Leafs had Mike Walton and Tim Horton score. Unfortunately, Bauer got injured before Game 4, so basically Bauer couldn't play the rest of the series. Al Smith had to be the backup and all that. Sawchuk would play well in the Montreal Forum in Game 5. Goals by Papin, Brian Conacher, Marcel Pronovo. Yeah, that's right, Pronovo. He played for that team, I guess. And Dave Keon made it. Leon Rochefort for Montreal. It was like weird. And then Rogie was replaced by Gump Worsley in the net. And that's when Montreal decided to switch goalies and put the veteran Gump Worsley in net for Game 6. But Montreal could only score one goal. Dick Duff, former Leaf, scoring. The Leafs put up goals by Ron Ellis, Jim Papin, which was the Stanley Cup winner, and George Armstrong. It was amazing. George Armstrong got the Stanley Cup, and he asked his son Brian to help him raise it and all that. See the video, it's kind of nice. So anyway, there were a lot of Leafs players who were there and all that. Who got their names on the cup? Well, you got Red Kelly, Pete Stamkowski, Dave Keon, Mike Walton, Brian Conacher, Milan Marcetta. Now you're thinking, Milan Marcetta? What did he play for? He actually played in the 3 of the 6 games in the final. And Ott Eriksson, A-U-T Eriksson, number 24. Marcetta was number 25. They both played in the final, but they didn't play the regular season. In the current reigns, they would not have had their name in the cup because you have to play 41 regular season games, half the team schedule, or one game in the final. But anyway, yeah, they got their names on the cup. Ron Ellis, George Armstrong, Larry Jeffrey, Jim Papin, Bob Pulford, Eddie Shack, Frank Mahovlich, Larry Hillman, Marcel Pronovo, Tim Horton, Bob Braun, Odd Erickson, Alan Stanley, Terry Sargent, Johnny Bauer, Al Smith. And yes, Al Smith's name was Al Smith qualified to beat Cup because he was dressed for the finals, although he never played in the final. So anyway, it was amazing and all of that. Yeah. So anyway, Kent Douglas and John Brenneman were sent to the minors before the trading deadline. But because they played in the minors during the playoffs, they couldn't get their name on the cup. I feel so bad for Kent Douglas. Because, he deserved to have his name on the cup. John Brenneman, not so much. So anyway, the Leafs were the champions, and deservedly so. So you think. Well, the Leafs winning the Cup 67 was great, and the Leafs thought, okay, maybe a few years we'll win another one. That long while is 54 years. If the Leafs don't win the 2021 Stanley Cup, they're going to end up getting close to being the worst of all time for NHL teams without winning a Stanley Cup in seasons. The Rangers streak from 1940 to 94 is 54 years. If the Leafs don't win the Stanley Cup, they'll tie. Even if they win the Cup next season, they'll still be tied for the worst. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.